Okay, if you're a Van Halen fan, I think you're going to have fun with this video. I found an article that was an interview with David Lee Roth, and this is from May 20th, 1979. And so basically this is about 2 months, March, April. Yeah, so Van Halen II came out in March of 1979, and then they did this interview with David Lee Roth. And one of the reasons I like this article, and it's not very long, but one of the reasons I really like this is probably over half of the article is just quotes, just the things that he actually said when they were doing this interview for this article. And of course, David Lee Roth is a character, and it's just interesting listening to what he has to say in this article. And so this was in the Green Bay Press Gazette, Sunday, May 20th, 1979. And so here's how the article went. And it says, Van Halen, rock and rollers fight stupid boogie music. Okay. Quote, there's a bit of Van Halen in everybody, said David Roth, lead singer of Van Halen, the rock group energizing the airwaves with its hot-selling Van Halen II album. The band began with the Dutch-born brothers Van Halen, Alex drums and Edward guitar, joined by Michael Anthony bass and Roth, the charismatic, golden-earringed frontman who sings and talks as tough as his studded leather armbands. Tossing the wild blonde mane beloved by screaming teenage girls from New York to Tokyo, Roth revealed the Van Halen philosophy in an interview. Quote, in the beginning, rock and roll was all guitars, drums, and vocals. What happens now is you have this mechanical wizard in the studio, and the band goes on stage later, and if they can reproduce it, they look like hell running around flipping levers and knobs to keep that 9-part harmony going. By the way, you can hear David Lee Roth saying these things, can't you? Okay. His quote continues, or else it's some stupid boogie band that has 3 chords for everything and just goes boogie, boogie, boogie. Well, that's where Van Halen comes in. It's not stupid boogie music, but on the other hand, it's not spaced out futuristic junk, unquote. Having set the group apart from 2 of rock's modes, Roth says Van Halen is also the vanguard of a new attitude among rockers. Quote, I personally am sick of all these little boys out there on the road who can't play without champagne, without their monitors. It's, oh, I have a cold today, or I can't go out with my towel. I can't go out without my towel. That's baby stuff, he enlarged. And then he continues his quote. I mean, they write these songs. Here we are on the road and we're so miserable. What are we supposed to do? Feel sorry for them because they have to travel? This is what you work for. They get paid pretty good for all that misery. And then he continues with the quote. We've had limos, Roth admitted. Yeah, we did all that. Going around in limos and eating at the best restaurants, but a television is a television in a Holiday Inn or at the Ritz. I mean, we used to get in the limo and drive to McDonald's because they treat you like dirt in them fancy restaurants, unquote. With another toss of his locks, Roth laughed and added, quote, if it doesn't come in a screw top bottle or a pop top can, I don't know what it is. We are reflecting the audience. We are the audience. You have to be part of the audience and the audience has to be part of you, unquote. If it sounds like the punk philosophy raising its pincushion head, it is. And then again, it isn't. Van Halen sees the point, but doesn't hear much music in the new wave punk rock movement. By the way, that's an interesting observation that the down-to-earth people's kind of band that Van Halen tried to be reflected that some of that philosophy that was in punk rock music, which had just come into existence not long before this. And as a matter of fact, when Van Halen was rising up, that's when punk rock was hitting its peak. So anyway, just interesting observation. Okay, then more quotes from David Lee Roth. Quote, look, it had its chance. The proof is in the pudding. That's what it's all down to in the 1980s, he said stoutly. None of this, well, they're artists and the audience can't relate to them yet. The question is punk selling? No. Is Van Halen selling? The chorus from his cohorts, yes. Soothed by the sound, Roth folded his arms over his perpetually bared chest. Van Halen went platinum last year, and Van Halen II sold 500,000 copies. That's a gold record in only 10 days. Not surprised, Roth is sure about the Van Halen formula. Quote, "The trick, man, is the music." Anyway, I hope you like that. Is there anything in there that you relate to? Does that sound like David Lee Roth to you? When you hear that stuff from Van Halen, when they're just going on tour for Van Halen 2, does any of that stuff sound familiar? Can you relate to anything that he had to say there about that time? Because there was a lot of things changing right at that time. You had disco that was kind of on its way out. You had punk that had kind of come and gone. And then we were about to see kind of the rise of this new hard rock world or heavy metal world. And so many things got put under that umbrella of heavy metal. I don't even like saying that term, but that's kind of what it all got put under. And so that was just on its way in, and here's Van Halen in some ways leading the charge with that. So anyway, I'd love to get your feedback on that. Of course, follow the channel, like the video, and share this with your friends. Leave comments, and with that, have yourself a fantastic day.